Welcome back to A Closer Look. If you're just joining us, I'm your host, Linda Fontaine, and today we are talking about Jeremiah School. Now, I have one of the parents of a student at Jeremiah School. We have Rebecca Shepard. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
What brought you to Jeremiah School?
Kingston was struggling in public school. Kingston is my son.
Right.
He's 11, and he was diagnosed with autism when he was 5. And he was having a hard time in public school, so I looked for other alternatives for schools for him, and I came across the Jeremiah School, and it seemed like it would be a great fit for him.
Very good. So you were living in Greenville, so you made a move.
I did.
Just to be at this school, is that right?
I did. It was logistically just, much easier to live in the same location as the school.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's quite a move for you to make. That's a sacrifice, but at the same time, it was a blessing that you got to bring your son to this school that's made such a difference in his life.
It has been a huge blessing. It has been so good for Kingston. He is so happy at the Jeremiah School. He was frustrated in public school when, he didn't understand things, and the Jeremiah School, they just have such an understanding for children with autism. They know how to go about, de-escalating those frustrations when it comes along with the children that they're dealing with. They know how to deal with the sensory things that are happening with the children. They even have their own sensory room that they can go into and take breaks in when they need it. So he's happy there. He's happy to go to school.
Great. Well, describe what autism looks like in your son and how the school's made a difference. I mean, you already mentioned some of the things with the sensory processing and things, but explain to us that people that might not be real familiar with autism, what it looks like.
Okay. Well, in Kingston's case, and I think it's important to note that, autism is different in different children. They're still individuals, but so it may not be the same for every autistic child, but in Kingston's case, he is, social skills are an issue, and the school is great about incorporating that into their academics, into their learning. The life skills that they teach, the social skills that they teach are part of the curriculum there at the Jeremiah School. And he does struggle with some of those social skills that, say, you and I might pick up on without having to be taught. A lot of times, social skills have to be taught to children with autism. He has a hard time transitioning. He learns differently than maybe the typical child. And so they do constant assessments with the children and try different things to see what would be best as far as, their type of learning. They're very consistent with their schedule, and we know that most autistic children thrive on consistency.
Yes.
So they do that. They let the children know if there's going to be any changes to the schedule. They even send out emails to the parents, letting the parents know that this is going to be a different schedule this day, so you might want to prepare your child for that. They're just on top of things that may come along with the children.
So it sounds like they understand autism, and so they know how to react to all these different situations that occur, because that's what they're trained in. So that makes a big difference when you're going to a public school and everybody is pretty much taught the same. Well, that doesn't work for somebody that has autism. It's got to be more specialized. It's got to be understood that they do learn differently, and there are these social differences and this sensory issues and things like that.
Exactly. And I mean, through probably no fault of their own, a lot of regular ed teachers in the public schools don't have the special ed qualifications that it would take to deal with a child with autism. And the teachers at the Jeremiah School, all of the staff are well versed in autism and are able to deal with things that come along because of that. It's also a much smaller scale. So, my child is in a class of 6 students with a teacher and an aide. So, it's a 1-to-3 ratio. So that one-on-one time allows a lot of time for extra learning, extra things that he may need.
That makes a huge difference.
It does.
That makes a huge difference. And I have a feeling that Jeremiah School is going to be having a waiting list that's a lot longer than 7 people, just because everybody wants to do what they can that's best for their child. And this is a great opportunity.
It's a wonderful opportunity. I hope that they are able to expand. I know that's in the plans, and I hope that they're able to expand to accommodate a lot more children, because I know it's needed.
Well, tell me a little bit about this support group you've started, Puzzle Pieces.
Puzzle Pieces I started it about 3 years ago. When Kingston was diagnosed, even before he was diagnosed with autism, then I guess as a special needs parent, when you first learn that your child has a need that's different than the norm, it's frightening, it's scary, and you want to do what's right by your child. You want to make sure that they have everything that they need. And there's not a lot of places to turn to because it's a new thing for you, and you're not familiar with what to do. So I wanted there to be someone that people could reach out to, some organization, some group, some support that people could reach out to and ask just simple questions. Where do I turn? What do I do next? This is what my child is doing. Has this happened with your child? What have you tried? And just support. It's so important when you have a special needs child to have that support.
It really is. I had a child who's been chronically ill, and when you have somebody that has something going on in their life and you don't know where to turn or what to do, a support group means everything. I have relied heavily on the support group for my son, and so I understand what you mean about the support groups. It can be life-saving for so many people, especially to keep our sanity, to know that we're on the right track, that we know what we're doing, and it's a good way to share resources.
It is, and that's part of what we did through our support group. Is I would bring in speakers, so like an occupational therapist or a physical therapist, or even just a mental health therapist that could talk about ways to circumvent sensory issues, things like that, if your child was having those problems, and then friendships form. And then you're going out to lunch with someone and you're able to share, well, this is what's happening with my child and this is what's happening with mine. And they really are truly the only other people that understand, kind of what's going on.
Well, it's important to have somebody to relate to in life in general. And when you can explain to somebody and they go, I get it, that just means so much. Sometimes you feel all alone, and just have somebody else say, I get it, it's all right, this is what I do, or have you tried this? That's sometimes all you need to help you get through the day. So I think that is such a blessing. Are you bringing this support group to Jeremiah School?
There is hopes that we will start something similar at the Jeremiah School. That because of the new building, there is ample space now, and they have designated a room to be used as what they're calling a parent room. And we were actually, another parent and I were actually fixing that up a little bit yesterday. We hope to have that done in the next month or two. And when that is done, then we will be able to have people come in, parents, and maybe even others from outside of the community if they're needing support as well. And we will have coffee and things like that, and just be able to sit around and talk to each other. In the works, we were talking yesterday about also having something like a lending library there. So having materials there on autism, books, things like that, activities that you could check out to do with your child, like maybe social stories and things like that. That would be helpful to parents, so that that's available to them, so they can take that home, bring things that they think might be available, and just have that going.
So Rebecca, do you have any more pearls of wisdom you can tell us about Jeremiah School and the difference it's made in your son and your family?
I'm just so thankful for an organization like the Jeremiah School. I'm thankful for the founders of it. I think it's wonderful that they had an idea and brought it to fruition, that these children have the opportunity to go to a school where their needs are met, where there's an individualized education. I hope that more children are able to have that opportunity in the future. I hope that they can grow. I hope that more people will volunteer, donate, whatever needs to come, so that the Jeremiah School, I know there's lots of plans. I know that Miss Jo has lots of plans in the works. She has lots of things going on in her brain about things that she would like to see at the Jeremiah School. And she's truly an advocate for the children, and all of the people are there. So it's just been a huge blessing.
I love that. That's wonderful. So again, if people need to get a hold of the Jeremiah School to learn more about it, or to volunteer in so many ways, jeremiahschool.com. Yeah, I'm making sure it's jeremiahschool.com. And just check out the website. They're on Facebook. Give them a call. I'm sure Joe would be happy to tell you anything you could do to help. Paint, do hair. Anything you can do to help these children learn anything in life skills. Thank you so much, Joe and Rebecca, for being here today and educating us and telling us more and more about this wonderful blessing of a school right here in our region, the Jeremiah School. Thank you so much, and we'll be back this time next week with another edition of A Closer Look. Have a great, healthy, wonderful week. See you then.